All right, guys. Welcome to the Brick House call. We are really excited to make these calls super tactical for the new year. Kim, Jamie, Aaron, and I have been talking a lot about like what this team needs. And I sort of voluntold myself to run this call. And it's going to be talking a lot about your email list and how it's beneficial for your business. We're going to be talking about how to map out your marketing plan so that you have some focus. Because I think a lot of times, like even just after the weekend, you sit down, it's Monday morning, and you're like, oh, what am I doing? Like now what, right? So one of the most, and honestly, I will preface this by saying I saw somebody said that, or I said this in one of Kim's PS chats earlier, like every time I get really like solid in a new routine, I realize that Kim's been telling me this since the beginning. So sometimes we just need to hear it from somebody different. But you know, Kim's always saying like, oh, marketing plan in the Crush Nation files, like da 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 da, right? She's been telling us that for years. But here's what worked for me is when I made it my marketing plan, because it's really helpful to see our leaders do tools for us, but it's actually more helpful for you to do your own. So a big portion of this is about creating your marketing plan, because your group is not going to be the same as Kim's group. Like those marketing plans are for Emerald coaches who are plugging their people into their uplines group because they're not at this level yet, right? But you guys are at a level in your business where your groups are about you. Your marketing plan is about you and about what you have to offer and about your unique approach to Beachbody and about how you are different from every other square on this call. So the very first thing that I want to like talk about is creating that marketing plan and then tying it together with your social media. So really the way I've started to do it is in a 3-step plan, which is really similar to what Kim does. I got sort of the kick in the nuts to get organized by doing this one-on-one mentorship with Mel Mitro, and she's really helped me implement. And I am just kind of like a procrastinator and I wander. So having that sort of accountability to like really implement this has changed my business. And I think it's really changed my integrity in the business and the way I'm running my business, because I'm no longer feeling guilty if like something I tried to roll out wasn't successful. It's not because I suck and I didn't do the work. It's just like, okay, thank you, next. I know what I'm now doing, you know, this next coming week, right? So being able to just get a little bit more business focused about it and realizing that like things are just rolling, right? Like every segment that we roll out is what it is, and we move on to the next. And so long as we have a marketing plan in place, then we're going to feel a lot more organized and excited about what's to come in our business. So I've sort of done it in this 3-step plan. The first, and they don't go necessarily in this order, but over the course of every single month, I'm going to have a client group, which I'm recruiting to. And maybe that's just a focus within my current group. Like I'm not starting a whole bunch of new groups, right? I'm going to have some sort of free value or offering, whether it's a free group or a free little handout or whatever it is. And I'm going to have a sneak peek to coaching. Now, what's different about what I'm doing is that I think, you know, you hear that saying like, what worked for me then isn't working for me now. And Mel has really pushed me outside my comfort zone to realize that like, with the sneak peeks, we can't keep doing the same thing over and over and over and over again and expect people to want to attend and want to enroll, right? We have to, because if it takes 10 no's to get a yes, then how are we talking to those women that have said no 7 times but aren't getting on to hear the calls because it's the same shit, they've already heard it, right? We need to make each one of these 3 segments a little bit different in order to still speak to those people that have said no to us, but are still our ideal market and our audience, and maybe this is the time for them, right? So when it comes to our sneak peeks, like what's different about it this month? You know, I tried the addiction masterclass, and this month we did Cash for Christmas. And so in January, I'll think of something that's going to be new. And it doesn't have to be a big, you know, masterclass, but like what's your talking point? even if the call is going to be the same, you have to market it differently. You guys are diamond and above leaders. You have to market it differently because we need to start grabbing people's attention. And the same old shit is just white noise, right? So one thing that Mel keeps asking me every time I go to roll out a segment is like, what's different about this? Okay, what's unique about this? And I'm like, right? And it's forcing me to sit down and really think about that. In terms of the boot camp, same thing. Like, what problem is your ideal market facing? That's the number one thing you need to write down. And then it's like, okay, what am I offering them to solve that problem? And that's what your boot camp should be about. Someone in our group chat recently, like our coach level group chat, said, oh, how are you? What's your angle for marketing Sure Thing? And I was like, no, what's your angle? Don't ask Sally what hers is. What's your angle, right? So it's going to take us sitting down and being like, okay, my person is like considering giving up smoking. She's sober curious. She's like sabotaging in her nutrition. Like, I'm trying to think of my person, right? And so what is that going to solve? And we're going to take this full circle. I'm going to completely show you how to launch this January group. But those are sort of the initial things on what you should be brainstorming. And like, this might take your entire working hour today, right? But it's worth the time to sit down and map out exactly how, and I love the timing of this, exactly how you're going to roll out your January boot camp. What is exciting about it? What's different about it? How are you solving your ideal person's client's problem in this boot camp? And then we can start to market it using our email list and using a system that we're going to do over and over and over and over again. Now, I'm trying to do this 3-step plan where it's the freemium, the coach sneak peek, and the boot camp. It's a lot to keep up with. And I'm not the most consistent person in the world, but I love having this like framework in place as my goal. Like, I'm not going to beat myself up about if I don't smash all 3 every single month, but at least I have this framework, right? And I'm going to show you how we can like map out our social to accompany this framework as well. I also just want to share, guys, as we approach the holiday season, I went on a hike with one of my best friends that I haven't, like, I get to see her, but not often. Like, once a year is, you know, a win if we can. And it's always with kids or other friends and da 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 da. And it was like the first time we'd been alone. She was my university roommate. Like, we are soul sisters. And it was so incredible. And I said to her, I said, she was asking me a lot about the business. She's always been supportive. And I said to her, I'm like, you know, for a lot of the past year and a half, I've been like feeling guilty about what I'm not doing in my business. But really recently, I've realized that I have everything I wanted from this business. So I want you guys over the course of this month to think about what you've achieved in this business. If you're making like $1,000 a month in this business, like, think about who you were when you first started that and how huge of a win that is and where you're at, because that might inspire you to actually like lean forward and keep going, right? I'm not beating myself up anymore that I can't be as consistent as the sis next door. Like, I'm like finding my joy again and doing groups that feel really exciting to me and shifting, like, you know, even the addiction thing, I'm like feeling like, like it's a little harsh. People don't love talking about it. Like, I'm like slightly feeling like maybe I'll shift more towards hiking. Like, I'm not married to anything. I'm married to feeling good in my content, in my groups, in my value add. Like, I'm married to that, you know, because that's what's going to keep me in this business. And I'm for sure a lifer, regardless of the ups and downs. Like, it's just about pivoting and figuring out new ways. And this marketing plan and having this sort of 3-tiered system has got me really excited. Okay, so let's get into it. I know this is supposed to be a 30-minute call. Step 1 is set a recruitment goal. So we're talking January boot camp because I want you guys to be thinking forward, right? Set a recruitment goal. My recruitment goal is 20 new clients. Okay, so you're going to set your recruitment goal for your January boot camp. Now, think about a concept. Ask yourself, what's different about this than every other coach? So I was on a call this morning. Ashley is going to be sharing here. Ashley Seedall, she's our virtual assistant, and she's going to be helping me do this tutorial today. So I was like, okay, if we're going to like roll this out, like I should have my January boot camp like figured out, right? So I came up with the concept, out with the old, in with the new. I'm going to talk about New Year's resolutions, habit stacking, and I really want to focus in the new year about like replacing a bad habit with a good one, and like dating new hobbies and stuff like that. So that's my group concept. And you're not expected to figure yours out right now, but I'm just giving you that step. Set your recruitment goal and figure out your group concept. What's different about it? Because it can't be sure thing. Like, yes, that might be the program you're doing, but that's not your concept. That's Beachbody's concept. So what's the concept for your group? Because and it's going to solve problems that you're, you know what I mean? All this stuff. I hope that's making sense. Okay, then I'm going to look at the calendar and I'm going to figure out my first two promotion, or my first two dates that are important. The first one is the promotion date, so my promo period, and the second one is my enrollment period. So my promo period for me is going to be December 26th to January 6th. And then my enrollment period is just going to be 5 days from January 1st to January 8th with a soft start on the 9th. So it's really important that you figure out your date, because especially in that week after Christmas and in between New Year's, when you're feeling like, I just want to like look at my tree sparkle and make cookies and love my kids, that you know what your plan is. My plan during that week is going to be plan my social media content in advance, talk about replacing old habits with new ones, a call to action daily to fill out my form, which we're going to show you how to do, reels to address problems and struggles for my ideal client. And then every time I post a reel, going in my story and elaborating. And that is a really powerful tool that I've been trying to implement lately too, right? It's like, okay, so you post your daily content, which is your reel, and then go in your stories and elaborate on that. So you're not done as soon as you post, you then go and elaborate in your stories. Okay, so let's get going. I'm gonna allow Ashley here to share her screen. We're gonna go through this 5-step system of implementing this January bootcamp, out with the old, in with the new, so that you're really, really organized for the new year to roll out your program. So hi, Ashley, welcome to the Brick House.
Awesome. Thanks for having me. So excited. Okay. So I'll just get going because I know you guys have like a little time limit on this. Let's see. Okay. So I'm just going to show you kind of step by step how just to get this set up in Flowdesk. So when you set up a Flowdesk account, you have the ability to set all of this up before you even have to like start paying for anything. So it's kind of helpful just to get in here and to play around and kind of figure out, what different tools do. First thing we are going to do though, so when setting up the workflows Courtney was talking about, workflows are essentially, they just allow you to get everything out without having to sit down and manually send it out. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to come in here and head over to audience. And can you guys all see what I'm doing? Okay, good. So you're going to come over here to audience. And you're going to create a segment. So a segment is essentially a folder of people that you're wanting to segment off separate from all of the rest of your subscribers. So like, for example, these are Courtney's segments. So like free download, these are the people who wanted her, the leave her behind, that free thing that she just did. So segment, you're going to come in here and you're going to create a new segment. And so specifically for Courtney, we're going to create her January bootcamp. So it was called Out with the Old, In with the New. You pick a color, it does not matter. And then we're going to save that. So that's the first thing that we have to do to be able to create a form. So you have to come in here and create your segment first. Then you're going to head over to forms. And in forms, you're going to create, obviously, new form. And then there's different types of forms that you can do. If you have a website, there's different ways to do. You can do like a pop-up or an inline. Because we're just sharing a link that people just want to go to add straight to our segment, we always do full page. And then we come in here and you click, there's different templates that you can choose from. I always just do this top one. And this is why it's important you set up your segment first, because you have to choose a place that these people are going to go to. So we're going to click out with the old, in with the new, and save that. Okay, so this is where you get to be a little bit more creative. And you can change, there's seriously so many different fonts that you guys can choose from. Like, it is so user-friendly. And then you're going to want to come in and add in your image. So this is where your branding is going to come into play. We go to Canva. We use Canva for essentially everything. We have found that adding in that image into the form is kind of finicky. So you have to find the right size graphic from Canva. So I've been using what I've found that's worked the best is the flyer portrait. And the size I think is like 8.5 by 11. It just fits the best in that box, so it doesn't cut off any of your image. Let's see, let's download this. I think I already downloaded it. Okay. Now we come back in here to Flowdesk and come over to this right-hand side and upload the image. Okay, so that's why I chose flyer, because it fits in here perfectly. And then one other thing you want to do, just right over here, you can preview what your form is going to look like. It's super important that you preview it, especially on the mobile, because you can choose to have an image. See right here, there's no image, but we want that to be on there. So we're going to come, let's see, just click on the block, and we want our image on our mobile. So we're going to turn that on and see, now we can view our image right there. So, okay, then from here, so obviously you'd write ready to start new, just kind of whatever you're wanting to put there, a little bit of a description, first name, email address, and you can choose to where that these are required. First name and email are always actually required, but you can add in different questions, custom field. We've been doing key handle, and then we can click that it's required.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I just say, like, that was such a big learning for me, because when I first did my addiction CD, or it was my masterclass, I didn't put IG handle required, and I literally couldn't even follow up with people because I couldn't find them. Now, some people just want to be a ghost and are going to like evade these no matter what, but like at least doing our best to make those fields required was a huge learning for me.
Yeah. So you definitely want to make sure that that's a required field, because if you don't, they can just skip it and still, so subscribe or whatever, get more info, you'd put whatever in that button. But then we're going to come here to next. We don't ever enable a double opt-in. You can, it's just another step for them to do. You can get notified, and then after they click submit, they're going to get congratulations, you're subscribed, whatever. And this is how you're going to share your form. So you're going to want to copy this link and then put this link wherever, obviously in your Instagram or in a reel, like whatever, wherever you're going to put it. Okay, so now from here, I head back to, I just click on the icon on the top left. So your form then is live. So you can go in and edit, edit different things, but it's going to pause your form. So like when people sign up under that link, and if you're editing, you haven't finished editing and like officially published it, it's not going to go anywhere. So make sure that when you're like editing, you're like done and out of there, so you're still getting all of those emails. So super important. So the next step, we come over here to workflows, And this is where we're going to set it up where they automatically get an email from us. So we just click, so obviously new workflow. Seriously, so many templates. Just kidding. Not here. There are not so many templates apparently. But we're going to start from scratch. That's always what I do. Jeez. And I found obviously the more you label everything, guys, the easier it is to find everything, because you're going to have a lot in the back office of your Flowdesk. So you're going to start by adding a trigger. So this is just what triggers the email to go out. So obviously a subscriber is added to the segment. And then the segment, you remember that's the one where we chose where people are going to go. So when they fill out the form and get put into the segment, this email will automatically go. I always take this out, the exit little portion. I delete that because sometimes you want to add things into your workflow, but if you have that exit, as soon as they get the first email and like that section is completed, they're going to be out of there and they won't get what you add on to your workflow. So you want to make sure you get rid of that. And then you come and click this little plus sign, and you can choose from different actions. So you can set up an email. This is what we're going to do. You want that email to go out as soon as they sign up on that form, or you can choose a time delay condition. You can choose where they're going to make action steps, but for right now, we're going to do an email. And then this is where you either can create a new email or duplicate an existing email. This is typically what I do, so I can just work on all of the emails. So just for the sake of an example, we're just going to make a copy of this newsletter. Make sure it's coming from the right sender. So that you just scroll down on this right-hand side, coming from yourself. And this is where you're going to put in the subject line. So we put whatever subject line, out with old. And then preview text. If you don't put in a preview text, it's going to, we found this out the hard way. It's going to put, so at the very bottom of your newsletter, you have to put your address. It's like some legal thing with Flowdesk. We put in a fake address, but that's what's going to show up on the preview text if you don't put something in. So put something here. Can't even spell blah. Okay. And then you're going to publish it. If you do not publish this, it will not set up to automatically start sending people information. So you do have the opportunity to come in here and edit things. So, but it's going to pause your workflow. So same thing with the form. If you're in here editing and people sign up with that link, if they click on the link, it's not going to work. So you have to make sure you publish at the end and publish now. Okay, so now when you send out the link form or the form link, send out the form link, people sign up, they're automatically going to get that email. Okay, so then from here, I'm going to show just a quick example on how to set up an email. So come over here to new email, and we are going to send out an email for Courtney's addiction PDF that she just did. Let me make sure that I have that wording really quick. Sorry. Okay. So create new email. We're just going to title it the addiction follow-up. Okay. So then it just makes it like super, super basic. This was the address I'm telling you about. Literally, I just put numbers in and wrote something Las Vegas-y. Okay. And you can choose to have your logo in here. We're going to delete that because she wants a specific header. In Flowdesk, you just have these they're called spacers at the top and bottom of the spacers. There's these plus signs. That's where you're going to add in the content that yeah, this is where you're just going to add in. Is it still sharing my screen? Okay. Okay. So that's what we want for our header and our footer. So we're going to come in here, add an image, click on the image and click upload. So this is where you click on the image. This is where we want her header. Sometimes you kind of have to play around with different Canva sizing because sometimes they'll come up blurry, but that's just the Canva side of things. So then this is the text. This is where we're going to enter a text. One thing really cool about Flowdesk, something that they just recently added, is you can add in individual names. So like when somebody signs up and they put their first name in, you just put the @ symbol and you can personalize it for their first name. And then if they don't have their first name in there, or if it's kind of weird, you can type in like there, like, so it says, hey there, when somebody does it. Let's see, spacing on this is like way crazy.
That's actually the spacing I chose.
I'm just kidding. It's really good. Okay. Okay, so yeah, so you're gonna add in all of the text that you're wanting. Delete this click here button because we're not linking to anything. And then we're wanting to add in our footer. So again, come and push the plus sign, image, click on the image, click upload, and then put in whatever footer that you decided. So same thing, it's a little blurry. I've played around with different, you can make it bigger, maybe. No, just kidding, that's the full size. But you can delete these spacers if you feel like there's too much spacing. You can kind of change all this spacing. But then, yeah, Court, are you ready to send this out? Do you want me to just get it out?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, let's get that out. And then I was thinking one sort of last thing before you stop share that might be helpful. So you can go ahead and send that, is if we add this to the addiction workflow so you can show them how to edit that.
Okay, we talked about that. Yeah. Okay. So we're going to get this out right now to everybody who's already in the segment. So to do that, we're just going to go next. Who's this email coming from? It's coming from Courtney. Addiction follow-up. We don't want to title it that. We'll title it behind. Wait,
I'm like thinking, but not speaking fast enough. Let's say, I'd love to hear from you. Or no. Let's say, be vulnerable, respond to this email.
Okay. Okay, and then preview. I always just pick a line from the email. So are you considering a New Year's resolution this year? Okay, continue. This is where you're going to choose where it's going to. So choose your recipients, add a segment. So we're going to want to include everybody who signed up for the free download. You can also choose to exclude certain segments in here, like if we're sending out to all subscribers, but we don't want to send out to like one specific group of people, that's where you would put this. We're going to save that. And then we want it to go out right now. And it makes you like do it a million times just because they don't want you to accidentally send to the wrong people. Okay, so that email is out. So if we're wanting to add that to the workflow, we come back over here to workflow because this is one that Courtney had previously set up. So when somebody fills out her form, they automatically get the email where they can download the PDF. So New Year freebie, this is where we're going to come and edit it. Yes, we're going to pause it. Okay, so this is the email that went out. So now we're wanting to add in a time delay. So we're going to come here, time delay, and we decided we want this to go out 3 days after somebody signs up for or gets this email. So wait 3 days and then come here again, press the plus sign, and we're going to do that email that we just created. So duplicate an existing email. Make a copy of the addiction follow-up that we did. Let's check okay, perfect. We checked the subject line. And then again, I don't exit anybody out of it just in case we want to add things like for this specific situation exactly. So I just saw this question. This is all in the free Flowdesk account. So you have the ability to access all of this, but you cannot send anything out or have people sign up for the form until you've subscribed to their service. There's tons of like discount codes on there. Like Jenna Kutcher, if you guys have heard of her. Yeah, so normally it's almost like $40 a month. But you can find a code and yeah, find a code and put it in there so you're not paying the full price. So come here, click publish, and then publish now. So now anybody who signed up for that 3 days after they received it, they're going to get this follow-up email. And we make sure that it's published and it's all set to go.
Awesome, Ashley. Thank you so much.
Yes, you're so welcome.
Okay, guys. So now that we've set that up for January, it's like, it's time to take action, right? We know what our concept is going to be. We have a link that we're going to be sharing in order to collect emails. And it's going to be a lot easier to go into our follow-ups when we actually know who's interested in the concept, right? And then going forward, all of these people are just rolled up into the emails that I send on a regular basis, if you choose. Or like, say I go to run something about addiction next year, I can come back. I know that I have a group of people that were previously interested in that. And I can start to like talk to these people a little bit more on their level. Anybody that is coach curious, like I'm putting them into one similar segment so that anytime I need to do coach sneak peek or like coach mentorship follow-up, and I'm like, I don't have anyone to follow up with. Well, yeah, you do. You have like 50 people that at one point said that they were interested. And those are the first people that I'm going to go and follow up with, right? So the last thing, and I know we're over a little bit, so if you need to hop off, it's no problem. You can catch the rest on our recording. But I did just want to talk about just mapping this out a little bit more. So during that promotion period, really figuring out like, so my promotion period is 12/26 to January 6th. I am going to sit down like probably the 23rd or the 26th even, and I'm going to find trending audios and I'm going to map out my reels. I'm going to map out exactly what I'm posting about because we can't wing it. Like you guys are diamond and above leaders that are hosting a group with value that is solving a problem for somebody. So it has to be a little bit more thought out than just like inspiration, right? For me, I'm finding that this works. So for you, that might look differently, but for me, I'm finding if I can focus on a specific niche, adding a specific value and really staying consistent in that messaging. Like I'm not posting about my kids anymore on my grids. Like I'm just not, I'm posting about, unless it's related to my content, right? I'm staying really firm in this is how I'm doing my business going forward. I'm going to use this 3-part marketing system. Every single time I get onto Flowdesk, I create the segment and I keep going like this. If I have nobody that signs up from that one segment and like it's January 6th or January 9th and no one has signed up, and that's not going to freaking happen. But like, say you start one last minute and nobody signs up, like too bad, so sad, move on to the next. You already have planned what's coming up. Maybe it's your free group and it's like, get back at it and get into what your next thing is. During the enrollment period of January 3rd to January 9th, it's going to be follow-ups via email daily. And what those emails are going to look like are going to be different, right? Like maybe it's an FAQ. Maybe it's a like what you can expect in this group. Maybe it's a like common objections to enrolling in this group, but like be in their inbox daily because they're thinking about it and they're not saying yes to you. And you can go in and do some follow-ups in IG, but I truly believe like, and I'm seeing this start to work now slowly, but I've only been doing it 2 months. So for me, I know that this is only going to pick up steam the longer I'm able to be consistent at it, right? Like how long has Kim been running free groups, doing a marketing plan and email marketing? A long time, right? And I've been coaching 6 years, almost 6 years, and I'm like just implementing this. So don't worry about where you're at. just think about January and start here. Create a segment that is thoughtful to your audience and to you, that you're excited about. Get in Flowdesk, create a form. Yes, you have to pay monthly for this, but honestly, we were using MailChimp, not this intuitive. It has a lot of tacky stuff at the bottom. And like, my business is worth this investment, because if my Instagram gets hacked tomorrow, I have everybody on my Flowdesk, and that's important to me. So I think that's it. I hope this was helpful. I'm open to any questions if anybody has any. I did want to mention that working with Ashley has been so helpful for us. The main thing that we focus on with Ashley, because I know there's a lot of people that either don't have an assistant or are curious about one. The main thing Ashley focuses on with us was getting our Flowdesk set up, and now working with us on our monthly marketing plan. So she's helping roll out all these different segments month after month. If you need help, Ashley does have a service. She has other virtual assistants that she works with. She does have a service that can help you get your Flowdesk set up, or just do like really minimal tasks. Like, say you're not ready to pay someone a lot of money monthly, but like you need someone to send out your renewals because you're going fucking crazy and you never get that done. Then you can do something small in your business. So Ashley, if you want to drop your Instagram handle there, if anybody wanted to connect with Ashley, she's really, really organized and really good. And we've gone through a lot of different assistants because we just didn't feel like they were our vibe, and we just love Ashley so much. So Tracy, do you have a client newsletter and leads newsletter? No, I do I send my weekly email to everybody. If they want to grab my free meal plan that I got from Mompreneur, like, wicked, go for it, grab it. Like, the more value, the better, right? I also talk about my groups and my offerings in there. And one thing that I find really important is, like, say, for example, with this addiction PDF that I've rolled out, I'm not posting that PDF like in my client community. They have to fill out the link. Once you start using this system and these forums to collect emails and use email marketing, it's really important that you stay, like, you hold integrity to that and don't just start downloading now, right? Like, everybody needs to fill that out. Like, I've dropped it in, say, some of my coach chats because I don't want you guys in my Flowdesk, right? I want prospects in my Flowdesk. But for prospects and for customers, even for customers, like, I don't want that in my client group because I want to know which of my customers are struggling with addiction. And I'm probably not going to know that unless I do things like this. So yeah, that's it. I would love, maybe in the Brickhouse chat, if everybody like talked about their concept for January, what's unique about it, and what problem are you solving for your target audience? And often that's, what are you solving for you? So I hope this inspired you guys a little bit to get more organized, to think forward, and yeah, have a great day.